Okay, Be'ezrat Hashem. So now we continue with Pasuk Zayin. Yitzpon laisharim toshia. Yitzpon milashon tzafun. Tzafun barech. Right? On Pesach. Tzafun is the hidden. Right? Yitzpon, he will hide, he will reserve. Laisharim for the righteous, for the up, the straight people, Tushia. The Tushia is the Tushia can mean the ability, okay, to express themselves, to impact. And we'll see the Gaon. Magen, and he protects leholche tom, the ones that are loyal to, that are not loyal, that are shlemim, tam, right? That are complete, that are blameless. מלשון תם יושב אוהלים. יעקב איש תם יושב אוהלים. The Gaon explains, יצפון לישרים תושייה, ישר הוא. השם דרכיו ומידותיו בשכלו. What is the yashar? You want somebody that is straight. Right? Yashar. Is it, when you speak to people, Wadam Yashar, is it somebody that's straight, meaning no combino, no. Who is Yashar? The one that evaluates Hasham. Lashum is an evaluation. His paths, his ways, and his midot, besichlo. He constantly introspects himself and reevaluate his behavior, his actions, and his midot, his traits. How? Through the barometer, through the analytics and analysis of his intellect. So he assesses his actions and his midot, and then aligns them lefi Torah, according to the Torah. That behavior, that way of life makes a person yashar. So yashar, according to the Gaon, is not the end result of the work, but the actual work of investigating and aligning yourself to behave and react based on the derech of the Torah. And it says the Gaon, a man that is yashar like that, cannot fail. Why? Because he constantly, again, introspects, values himself, checks his ways. He's in constant, right, reevaluation of himself, of introspection. But in order for him to actually give value and see the fruits of this introspection, he needs to always be plugged to the source of the Torah. It's not enough to question yourself if you cannot then readjust yourself, right? So he says that's what it means. That's what the Gaon. That's what Shlomo HaMelech says. Yitzpon laisharim tushia. He reserves to the straight, right? The ability to what, to change, right, and to elevate and to impact. How? Through the etzah of the Torah. And he says, and this is what this is why Shlomo HaMelech used the word tushia, the ability, because it's only when you are able, you have the ability to do something that you can actually change and impact, right? If a person like the Mesilat Yesharim writes that the Yetzer Hara, one of his best, and Paro understood that, one of his best ways to make sure people don't change is to keep them busy. It takes away their ability and their freedom to think, to evaluate. So he pounds the person with responsibilities, sidetracks him, confuses the person, chokes the person, his neshama, with countless different reasons to be busy. So when you have the ability, says, when you have the ability, Hashem, Shlomo HaMelech says, the ones that introspect, the one that want to change, the one that take time to constantly evaluate their behavior, Hashem gives them the opportunity, the ability to actually make the change. And that's how you can break the wrong midot. That's how you can break the desires. And he says, where do you find that ability in the person? It's it's hidden, it's reserved, it's deep. It doesn't say Natan laisharim, he gave. No, he hid, he reserved deep inside, in the heart of the person, the ability to change. So you have to dig within yourself in order to reveal the segula of inner freedom and the luxurious opportunity and ability to actually change. Meaning, you will not find the opportunity to grow outside. It's by introspecting and evaluating yourself that you will actually find the segula of that is called the ability. Meaning that if you don't dwell and don't dig within yourself, essentially what the Gaon tells us, you are totally in the hands of the Yetzer Hara. I mean, the world surrounding you, without you diving within yourself, will control you and take away everything from your identity and your integrity. So you can only be yourself and essentially exist, like we love to use this word, exist, exteriorize your essence. You can only exist if you actually put the effort in evaluating yourself, questioning yourself, and always aligning yourself with the Derech HaTorah. Right? So here, we're talking about a paradox between the person that's pulled outside and his outside life and world and distractions, and his desire of growth. Right? So we are telling him, look, don't let yourself pulled and manipulated and controlled by your surrounding, but instead stay focused on growing from within in order to find the ability, which is a key word here, the tushia, which is this ability in essence is the redemption of your soul and yourself, to be able to take control over your life by aligning yourself with the Torah. That effort, that behavior, that way of life is defined by Shlomo HaMelech as the Yashar. Magen leholchei tom, and the ones that are tmimim, right? That are complete, that are shlemim, that are simple to a certain, Hashem protects them. It's a different type of person. We spoke about the Yashar. Now we speak about the Tam. So for the Yashar, Hashem reserved a place in the heart, essentially of every individual. But it is the Yashar finds it. The one that dwells will find this opportunity. The others won't. If you don't look for it, you're not going to find it. Like we said in the psukim before, Im tevakshena chakasef, v'chama polim techapesena, אז תבין יראת השם ודעת אלוקים תמצא. כי השם ייתן חוכמה עם פיו דעת ותבונה. Right? It's by looking, by dwelling, by searching. So it's through this behavior that you become a Yashar. But the Tam, says the Gaon, who is the Tam? The one that goes b'derech tamim. He doesn't ask questions. Whatever the Torah expects from him, he does. He doesn't move right, he doesn't move wrong, left, sorry. Even his midot, says the Gaon, he doesn't rely on his intellect. He doesn't ask questions. He doesn't, he's simple. Says the Gaon, when you behave like this, you almost you emulate the behavior of an animal. An animal doesn't have yetzer hara to steal. The animal, whatever he's programmed by Hashem to do, he does. He needs to eat, it kills. He needs to sleep, it sleeps. He needs to finish, right? So the Tam, says the Gaon, is like an animal. So there's no, he doesn't have an internal war within himself. So such a person.
But the Tam, no internal war. Everyone has internal war.
No, you have some. Yeah, but you have some people. You have some people that they do tmimim, They don't think too much. They don't want. Let me do my avodat Hashem. I go to my minyan. I do my thing. I do my chumash. I don't ask questions. Huh?
They're happy with.
Yeah, by default, yes. They do their thing. They don't ask too many questions. They don't like changes. Whatever. The Chacham comes, said, do this, I do. He said, don't do this, I don't. No questions.
I get it.
You have people, they challenge everything. People want to understand. They want to grasp. They want, right? That's so to those people that are in this conflict. So essentially, they can be lost. They can get lost in the world because they're always, taken by the pressure, the peer pressure, by the responsibilities, etc. So Hashem needs to give them within them, okay, the ability to find the safe heaven of the neshama to actually rise again. That's the yasha. The tam, he doesn't have that conflict. Now the tam, as being simple, the fact that he doesn't ask any questions also can make mistakes, right? A simple person can be misled, because he doesn't think through things too deep. But this person, essentially, what is he wants to do? That's what he wants to do. Let me do the will of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Says Shlomo HaMelech, even these people are protected. Hashem will protect them. That's why he says, Magen Le'ol Chetam, Tom. In Masechet Chulin, the Gaon adds another flavor to that pasuk. It says essentially, we find two opposites, right? The Yashar is the smart one, the one that challenges all the time. And the Tam is the one that doesn't ask any question, not so smart. Yeah. But we don't see here from Shlomo HaMelech an etzah of what you have to pick. What is it better, to be Tam or to be Yashar? Better to be a little dummy and some, like you said, don't ask questions, or no, the opposite, to challenge and be confronted to all these turmoils. What's better?
I imagine by logic that to be in turmoil will get you higher, could give you the ability or opportunity to go deeper in knowledge. The tam is simpler. No, I don't know what is better, because depending what is better, but the tam it's easier in theory.
Yeah. Shlomo HaMelech, so here is where Shlomo HaMelech adds, not here, but in Masechet Chulin, he says you need both. You need to be both. If Shlomo HaMelech didn't tell you this over that means you need both. How? How can you be both? How can you be both? So he explains like this. In terms of your behavior and application of the law, of the Torah, you have to be tam. The halacha is the halacha. Divrei chachamim is divrei chachamim. You have to be tam. The Gaon implies that if you start challenging the Torah, not to understand, but to challenge it without the right tools and without the right emunah and bitachon, it's very dangerous. So you have to have emunat chachamim. We have to have emunah b'kadosh baruch hu b'torato hakdosha, and do what's expected from us based on what the Torah tells us. But you have to be yashar when it comes to the challenges of life, when it comes to all the different aspects of your lifestyle, when you need to evaluate situations, relationships, business, interaction, internal turmoil, desires, ta'avot, midot. When it comes to all this, you need to be yashar, to dwell. So essentially, what that means, according to the Gaon, we have within us both traits. It's just that we lean on the one that's predominant and forget that we have the other. But if we're able to reorganize with proper awareness our essence, we will know when to trigger and develop the yashar and when to implement the tam, which essentially can resolve a lot of issues and internal how can I say troublesome when a person is conducting his life. Because if you're only tam or you're only yashar, it will overflow and impact every aspect of your life. So suddenly your yashar will start impacting your application of the Torah and the mitzvot. That's why you also find people that could be Talmidei Chachamim that have big issues after with accomplishing the halacha. Doing let's do what is written. This is what the Chachamim said. Do it. No, I want to ask. I want to do. And who said? Which leads to a lot of people when they don't get the right answers and the right, I guess nurturing and coaching, they can drift away. That's how we lose a lot of people. On the other hand, the tam, if he's always tam, and on the inside of the application of the law and on his life outside, he can be taken for a ride. He can be lied to, and then he pours his heart to Hashem. Why did you do that to me? So we need both. We need to be tam again when we apply the law of the Torah, and we need to be yashar when we need to make decisions and evaluate the right path in front of us. And to both, we have a segula. On one is the ability to find what is called the ability to change and grow by the yashar, and the protection of the tam. Meaning, when you follow the halacha, you will not lose, no matter what. If you have to close shop on Shabbat, or if you cannot lend money to this guy because he's a Jew, or if you cannot do a business because it's not straight, or if you cannot lie because, well, don't think you're going to lose. No, you're not losing nothing. That's where the protection kicks in. And if you tell me, how can I introspect and dive into myself? I'm overwhelmed by everything around me. I have so much to do around me. I have responsibilities, and we all fail for it, and we all fall for it. But this one is I have. Habibi, the only way you're going to grow is by finding within yourself that by wanting to change, and then the opportunity, the concept of opportunity kicks in, which is in itself, according to the Rambam, to the Gaon of Segula. Yitzpon la'isharim tushia. Hashem gives the tushia. Good.
Super. I'm happy I pushed.
Next pasuk. If you want, if we have time. What time?
I'm perfect. If you all have time. If not, we continue on Thursday.
לנצור אורחות משפט, פסוק ח', ודרך חסידיו ישמור. To guard, לנצור, to guard the path of justice, ודרך חסידיו ישמור, and protect the ways of the Hasidim, the ones that are loyal to him, the Hasid. Right, so now we have the ones that are living according to Orchot Mishpat, to the path of justice, which is the Mishpat of the Torah, right? So to them, Lintzor Unotzer Otam, he guards them, and the ways of the Hasidim he protects, right? So here you have the Tzaddik, which follow the Mishpat, the Tzedek, right? And you have the Hasid that does Lifnim Mishurat Adin, right? That goes beyond. So for the tzaddik, he guards the tzaddik, the path of the tzaddik, and he protects the ways of the chassid. Guards, protects. Yeah. And then there's another interesting orchot versus derech. Derech is a long path. Orchot is short pathways. We're going to see. So first, the Gaon says like this. He says, let's separate the Hasid from the Orchot Mishpat. He says, first there's Lintzor. Lintzor means Shmira Me'ula. It's the highest level of protection. Guarded. You can have a protection, light protection. You can have heavy protection, heavy guard, right? Depending on the level. So the ones that are on the path of justice are highly guarded. Says the Gaon, we're talking about the Talmidei Chachamim she'toratam umanutam that sit and learn Torah in yeshiva all the time. So their exposure outside in the outside world is very limited. So lechara, you should ask yourself the question, so why should they be highly guarded and protected? Usually, who do you have to guard and protect the most? The one that's on the road the long road, right? Says the Gaon, this is true. However, Chachamim taught us that the Yetzer Hara maniach ha'me'aratzet u'mitgareh betalmidei Chachamim. The Yetzer Hara is not interested in the ha'me'aratzot, in the people that don't. He wants the Talmidei Chachamim. So he's going to go during that short period of time that the Talmid Chacham goes out. The influence and the threat of the Yetzer Hara grows from 0 to 100 right away.
Is his trophy?
I'm sorry?
It's his trophy. The Yetzer Hara wants them.
Nachon. The Gaon also addresses here the Talmid Chacham. Why does he needs extra protection? Because the Talmid Chacham, through his chokhmah, never sees one path. He says, oh, I can go like this, I can go like that, I can go like this, I can go like that, I can, right? So when you bring a question or a dilemma to the Talmid Chacham, he's going to find 10 different ways to solve the issue. Like we found Rish Lakish, Rabbi Yohanan, right? They would bring answers like this and answers like that. So you need an extra protection for the Talmid Chacham not to get lost in his own thoughts. Because the Yetzer Hara will know how to deviate the Talmid Chacham and find a path that seems a good path that's going to end up backfiring on him. So essentially, the Shmira Elyona, right? The guarding, the extra guarding that the Talmid Chacham needs is because of of himself. Because he's exposed to his own chokhmah, he needs to be protected because that own chokhmah can be used by the Yetzer Hara against the person. And that's how you see, for example, Acher. You see, Gedolei Olam, Hashem Yishmor. Sometimes also Hashem Yishmor, Avdil, kids of Talmidei Chachamim that are brilliant. Usually the problems of people that living, like challenging the yeshivot is who? Is not the simple ones. It's the ones that have a great mind. So the Yetzer Hara uses that power, that weapon against them. Essentially, why? Like we said before, because the Yashar is only Yashar, when essentially we have to be both. So the Talmid Chacham that Yoshev Elomed Torah, Hashem gives him higher grade protection. Because Hashem knows how dangerous a loose cannon, a loose mind can be. That's why when we have a mind like that, we have to be aligned with the Torah. We have to be regimented in our behavior, in our midot, so that it doesn't overflow in the wrong side of the road, right? Overflow in the wrong side of ourselves, and chas v'shalom confuse us. However, v'derech chasidav yishmor, right? But the ways of the Hasidim he protects. We said so. Yishmor is less than insor. It's a lower level. Why? Because in this case, the Hasid explains the Gaon. The Hasidim are the ones that run after mitzvot of opportunities. How do I make Hashem happy? How do I make Hashem happy? Let me just do more. So essentially, yes, they are on a longer path, but they are not exposed, number one, to that threat that is called the intellect, the loose intellect, because they don't see paths. They don't find 10 different ways to do something. They find for the one thing. How do I do this? This is opportunity. I have a mitzvah to do this. I'll do it, right? When you don't need to do a mitzvah, you go, you do the mitzvah. The mitzvah is finished. You do another mitzvah. So you are not exposed to big dangers. So yes, you need shmirah. Definitely you need protection. But such a protection against yourself, even no, but pitam.
What would be the difference between technically a Hasid and a Talmid Chacham? Hasid don't study.
The Hasid doesn't ask questions. The Hasid goes and does what is asked. Let me do what I need to do to serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu, not without dwelling too much. The Talmid Chacham is the one that sits on the halacha and wants to understand. And he sees an opportunity. But let's dive into that opportunity. Is it really an opportunity? And what type of opportunity? Is it an opportunity for me? Is it for others? But 1 second, I have something else. So what comes first? The Chassid sees it. It does it. I want to serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu. I want to make Hashem happy. I don't forget about myself. It's about Hashem. Another tremendous pirush. Says something beautiful in the Kitvei Yad. He says, Shlomo HaMelech comes and tells you, Lintzor ochot mishpat, the one that follow din, the one that want din, they need very big protection, because those are exposed to din, to judgment. The one that are always judgment, they need to be protected tremendously. Why? If they sin a little bit, the judgment hits them. But the Hasid, the one that does Chasadim all the time, he doesn't need such a protection because he's always protected by his actions, by his Chasadim. So he says, only Yehidei Segula, only a very little amount of people actually can afford themselves to live Lintzor or Chot Mishpat, to be the ones that live according to judgment. Who can say, let me judge and be judged, Chas v'shalom? Impossible. Yeah. So
We lose 100%.
huh?
We're gonna
Yeah, but
lose.
I 100%. 100%. And a person like this, Linso, we say is highly guarded, right? Like the Pasuk says in Yeshaya, Ke'ir Netzura, a guarded city, like reinforced guarded city. Like the person that lives with the Din and only the Din, he lives in a very narrow environment. So it's there's a lot of roads, but there's small roads. That's why he said Orchot. Many small roads, plural. Linchor Orchot, the little roads of the. When you're in a very guarded city, usually if it's very, very guarded, it cannot be very, very big. It's not possible, right? And if it's small, then the streets within it are very small too. But the Chassid is Lifnim Mishurat Adin, right? He doesn't have the same way of judging people. So it's vast. He said, let things go. It's okay. So he has a long path. But his chesed, says the Gaon, protects him.
Gamzu leTorah.
Ken.
He says.
Ken. Nachon. Ish gamzu. Ish gamzu. So here, although the Gaon doesn't address it, but I think you can apply the same logic of the Gaon in the pasuk prior to this also here. Meaning, when it comes to your behavior, the way you treat yourself, you have to judge yourself, right? By following the din, by following the halacha. And even if within yourself and your own ecosystem, you to yourself, you live in a small, gated and protected and guarded environment. When it comes to the behavior outside, when it comes to the people around you, they're chasidav yishmo. Because once again, it's two distinct parts of your essence and your life. You within yourself, and you will ben adam lachavero, ben adam le'atzmo, ben adam lachavero. So ben adam le'atzmo litzor chot mishpat. Ben adam lachavero derech chasidav yishmo. Good. So we did pasuk Zain and Chet.
Yes.